Hey guys, this car we're riding in here is a Suzuki Wagon R, which was actually Japan's most popular selling car for some time. I love this car and my wife has one similar, and we just find it's the best car to get around in Japan because usually, of course, you know, the streets in Japan are very narrow. The parking areas are usually small, and it's just a perfect little car to get around in. However, the big cars are becoming more popular, more and more. So there's a few different types that are becoming popular. One is this one we're going to run into as we go in the corner. You see the four-wheel drive? So it's a Toyota Prado or something. Some people call those SUVs, sports utility vehicles. I don't call them that because I can't imagine them doing any sort of sport in that. It's more likely to be, the most likely sport they'll be doing is driving the kids to badminton or something. So four-wheel drives, yeah, they're becoming more popular. As you can see, this is actually a new estate out in the countryside, so the houses are a little bit bigger than average, and the street is wider, much wider than average. But still, when you look at the size of the house compared to the size of the cars, quite often you'll see the cars protruding out into the street because the parking spot isn't quite big enough. So the next popular type of vehicle, probably more popular than the four-wheel drives, this white thing we're looking at over here is a Toyota Noah or Voxy or Alphard, something like that. And we've actually rented a car like that when our family members came over from Australia and we needed to travel around. We needed a bit more space. K-car wasn't big enough. And we rented one of those. We've actually done it a few times. And they're excellent for traveling around in because they're big inside, you know. There's another one coming towards us. And they're really big inside, and that makes it really comfortable to travel around in. But they're really not practical for Japan because a lot of the streets are narrow in the older areas. This is a new area, but in the older areas of Japan, the streets are really narrow, and quite often you'll encounter a car coming the other way. The parking areas, even in shopping centres and things like that, the parking spaces aren't really big enough for those cars quite often. And then when you visit people's houses and things like that, it's always hard to find somewhere you can put a car of that size. So for us, it's a bit of a mystery. It's sort of a fashion thing at the moment. You know, all the mothers turn up at the kindy in the morning with a big car like that one, and so that's what they all want. You know, the Japan style following the trends thing. So if the other mothers all have one of those big cars, they want one too. Those cars actually seat 7 to 8 people. So 7 to 8 people. The average Japanese family is a couple of 50-kilo adults and a couple of 10, 15-kilo kids. Yeah, that's the average Japanese family. There's another one there. That's a Voxy or Noah. Voxy and Noah are pretty similar. But you know, 7 or 8 seat car for a 4-people family. Oh, there's a Range Rover there. Did you see that? Just go back now and quick look at the Range Rover. There's the Range Rover. Look at that. So, of course, you know, people are entitled to buy whatever cars they want. It's just, the reason I'm making a video about this is it's the trend at the moment. So you got, it's a big Honda as an SUV there, isn't it? That he does no sports in, four-wheel drive. There's a big Mitsubishi there. That Mitsubishi's huge. One of our family members has got one of those. And it's got a really wide turning circle. So when the mother visits our house, I have to turn it around for her. I have to do like a 8-point turn to turn it around in our driveway because it's so big and the turning circle's so wide. And then there's another Voxy or Noah there. So it's an interesting trend. Look, just to illustrate the point, here's another one here on the right. That's another 8-seater there on the right, and then another Noah directly in front, the white one. So you're getting the idea. Oh, and another one on the left. There's a Voxy on the left. The Voxy and the Noah are basically the same. So isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? As I'm looking up this street here, I'll just turn up to the right here. Have a look up here. You got another one on the right, and then a Honda version on the left. So interesting, isn't it? It's sort of a bit of a shame because it's not logical. It's not logical. I mean, they are fantastic for traveling around in, but for taking the kids to kindergarten and going grocery shopping and all that sort of stuff. And the other problem we're finding is some people just don't have the skill. So what you'll see at the shopping centre, you'll be driving through the shopping centre car park, which is, as I've mentioned before, the most dangerous place in our town is the shopping centre car park. That's another four-wheel drive on the right, Toyota Prado, and another one of those big Mitsubishis on the left. But yeah, driving through the shopping centre car park, and someone will be trying to park one of those things, and you'll see them reverse into the space, and they're a bit crooked. And keep in mind, they've got reversing lights, reversing cameras, and all sorts of gadgets to help them with their reversing. But they'll go in and they'll come out and try again, and they'll go in, they'll come out and try again, they'll go in, they'll come out and try again, and you sit there waiting for them to finally be satisfied with their park, you know. And it's because they're trying to get it into the centre of a really small parking space, usually, with hardly any clearance either side. So they try again and try again and try again. And the other one, of course, just stopping to have a look at the Jeep. There's a bit of a Jeep boom going on. We made a video about that once before. Jeeps are everywhere, which is a mystery on multiple levels. First of all, why you need a four-wheel drive in Japan in the suburbs anyway. And the second one is, Japan makes some of the best four-wheel drives in the world, including what's it called? The Toyota Land Cruiser, one of the best four-wheel drives in the world, and they're importing Jeeps. But anyway, so yeah, the parking of them seems to be a challenge for many of the owners. And see, another one on the right there. And the other one is the narrow streets, and we get that a lot. We live in an older part of a small town, and really narrow streets, single lane street basically, which means when someone comes the other way, someone has to back up. And I've found that it's 99% of the time, it's far quicker for me to back up than wait for one of them to try and back up that big car, because a lot of them just can't do it. They'll start to back up, they end up a bit crooked, and then they come forward again, and then try and back up again and get a bit crooked again, and it's just quicker in this little car just to back up. So you can see just about every car on this street is one of these 7-seaters or 8-seaters. That's a mid-size. That one on the left there, that maroon coloured one, that's a mid-size. That's a 5-seat car. That's actually quite a sensible car for Japan. We've actually probably have to get one when our kids get bigger. We'll probably have to get one like that. That's a sensible car, you know, 5-seat. But these 7- and 8-seat ones, they're just too big. Excellent for travelling. Excellent for travelling around Japan on the highways and things. But for actual day-to-day normal living, it's just not practical. No, so you see how many there are. There's another one there. That's the Nissan version of that boxy thing. Basically the same, isn't it? If you didn't look at the badging, you wouldn't know the difference. So yeah, big cars, the big car boom, and they're all doing it. Our friends and family and neighbours and people, you know. Oh, we got a new car. Oh, what did you get? Oh, Voxy. Oh, Alphard. It's all these 7 or 8 seat cars. So I'm lucky. My other half sees these things, this particular subject, in a similar way to what I do. So she's not real keen for a 7 or 8 seater either. She's quite happy with her little wagon R for now. So probably in the future we'll settle for a 5-seater. This little Honda here, that little black Honda, that's pretty sensible. That's bigger than this car. That'd have like a 1000cc engine or 1100cc engine. And these little cars, the power to weight ratio is really good, so they go really well. That'd be fantastic. That's a 5-seat, got a bit more space in the back than this car that we're sitting in. So yeah, something like that'd be a bit more sensible for a family, you know. But the big ones just don't get it. There's no real need, you know. This car will sit, I mean, the highest speed limit in Japan is 100 kilometers an hour, and you know, this car will do that easily. This is actually a manual. It's got 5-speed, and you know, you stick it in 5th gear on the highway, it's happy. It'll sit on 100 k's or a touch higher. It'll sit on that speed all day quite comfortably, revving at about less than 4,000 revs. So it's all good. Anyway, big cars. Gave you the idea, eh? By the way, this is middle of summer vacation, so didn't see a lot of people, did we? A couple at the end there, but the rest of it, you don't sort of see people outside. They're all inside hiding in the air conditioning. So anyway, that's it. The big car boom in Japan. More videos coming soon.